Hi, welcome to Formarte English Academy. We're going to start today our lesson 17. So it's very important for us to continue working for these tests that we need to do, the C1. And that's why we are doing 2 more months of the course so that we can learn a little bit more and practice, of course, a little bit more for our test. So let's go right away to our booklet and we can go to page 106. 106. So that we can go to right away to unit 17. First of all, I would like for us to practice a little bit of speaking, and as always, I would love for you to send me this information on just record it on a WhatsApp audio, and you can send me this information or these questions, and of course, we will be more than glad to give you some feedback. So let's start right away with those questions. The first one says, what kind of review is a rave review? Okay, just in case you don't know that, you can look it out in the dictionary. That's very interesting. You're going to notice what a rave review is. List as many things as possible that may be reviewed in the media. And then what sorts of things do you read or listen to reviews of? Has a review ever affected you? Okay, so we are learning this type of we're practicing this type of speaking, but most of all is because we're going to also in this lesson we're going to write a review. So that's why it's very important for us to be able to know this information. Okay, so let's work right away with some reading parts. And today we're going to practice one of the one of the most important reading parts, which is part 6 of the test. But before that, let's practice a little bit with this information. Just look at the headlines below, which are all from reviews. So it says, what do you think the reviews might be about? Just reading these headlines, or these yes, headlines, for example, based for backpackers or standing the test of time and so on. So what do you think the reviews might be about? You can just think about that. Then can you tell from each headline whether the review would mainly praise or criticize? Okay, so based on these headlines, what do you think? Are they praising something or are they criticizing something? And number 3, look quickly at the reviews A to E and check your answers. Okay, so that's the first information that I would like for you to do. And something that is very important in this first part is practicing for the test right away. Even though it's not exactly the practice of the test is not exactly like this one, but we are practicing for that part. As you know, well, you have already done some of these reading and use of English tests, and you know that some reading parts are very difficult. So we are really practicing for that information right away. And also, but at the same time, just learning a little bit of reviews, because remember that we don't know if you need to, you might even need to write a review. We don't know, right? But you might. So it's very important for us to know how to write it. So very quick here, it says, read the 5 reviews again. Are these statements true or false? Or is the information not given? So you need to read all these reviews here from A. This one starts with A, from A until F, or E, I'm sorry, until E. And after that, you need to then answer these questions, writing true, false, or not given if the information is not there. Okay, so it's very important again for us to do this practice regarding reading. So you can pause for a moment the video and let's work right away on this reading part. So let's see if you are doing good in reading. Let's see if you can, how you guys are doing with that part. And of course, remember that if you need more practice about certain specific part of the test, let us know and we can send you more practice for that. But now, let's now practice right now this part of the test, pause the video, and we will go to the next part of today's class. Okay, let's continue with the class. And well, just in case you didn't find what a rave review is, I'm going to write or read, I'm sorry, the information, and I'm going to also put it in the platform, just in case. A rave review is an article in a newspaper or magazine that is very enthusiastic about a particular movie, book, etc. Her performance won rave reviews from the critics. See rave reviews in the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Check pronunciation also. So it's just when a magazine or a newspaper writes an article about something positive, about certain thing, a book, a play, something. Okay, so that's what a rave review is, just in case we are having some trouble looking out for that information. Okay, let's go right away then to the our grammar part, which is articles. So let's go there right away. And well, you might say, well, articles are very easy. Why are we seeing this topic today? Well, it's easy, but sometimes we get confused with very, very, very small things. And that's what I really want for us to learn today. So let's see here very quick. It says, there are many different rules about the use of articles in English. Here are some of the points which cause difficulty for advanced learners of English. No article is used before uncountable and plural nouns when used in a general sense. For example, I like music. Okay, so we're talking in general, so we don't use the article the. Or she's interested in animals and wants to be a vet, right? So you don't say she's interested in the animals. No, she's talking about animals in general, so that's why we don't use the article the. Also, another thing is when there is a following phrase or clause specifying exactly what is being talked about, the definite article is required before uncountable and plural nouns. For example, I like the music they play at the jazz club in town. Well, it's talking about that specific music. Or are the animals in the rainforest saving their environment? Well, we're talking about not all the animals of the world. We're talking about those animals that live in that rainforest. So that's why, in this case, we are going to be using the article the. Now, with a or an is used the first time a singular countable noun is mentioned. But after this, the is used since the reader or listener is clear about what is being referred to. So this is very, very important. Mostly in our writing part, we need to be very careful because they're going to look at these details to see if we handle in a proper way these articles. So for example, a bird was trapped in the room and Anna called for her brother to help her free the poor creature. So poor creature talks, we're talking about the bird. So at the beginning again, we use a bird when it's first mentioned, but on the second time we're mentioning in the same sentence, then we're going to be using the. So again, sorry, a or an is used the first time a singular countable noun is mentioned. Afterwards, if we're talking about that same singular countable noun, then we use the. The other part says singular countable nouns must always have an article or some other determiner, like each, my, or this, except for a few fixed expressions like by car, in hospital, etc. Okay, and also the is not used with the names of most countries. It is, however, used with plural names or names of countries which contains a common noun. Okay, so these are very, very important rules, and let's check that very quick here with some examples. So we'd say the Philippines, which is plural, or the United Kingdom, kingdom is equals common noun, or the United States, plural, and states, common noun. Note that these nouns behave like singular nouns with verbs. The United States is a huge country. The is used with playing instruments, but no article is used with playing games. That's something very important. So for example, we say Mary's hobby is playing the guitar and mine is playing chess. So for games, we don't use the article the, or we only use it for instruments. Okay, so we don't say I like playing the chess. No, I like playing chess. Also, the can often be used before car, train, bus, plane, ferry, or boat when talking about the use of different types of transport in general. Even when the mode of transport has not previously been referred to. Is also used. So for example, we're going to say, are you going to take the train or a train or the bus or a bus to London tomorrow? Okay. Also, parts of the body are usually preceded by a possessive pronoun rather than an article when they are talked about in the context of the relation of to a specific body or bodies. When parts of the body are talked about in general, the is normally used. For example, we say Sally has sprained her ankle. We're talking about her specific ankle. But we say the liver is the largest organ in the body. So we're talking just in general. Then we use the article the. Now, the word own must be preceded by a possessive pronoun rather than the or a. When did you first get your own car? So we have here, when we talk about the units in which commodities are generally bought or sold, we often use by plus the. When we talk about price, we usually use or and. Let's see here something very important. It says her parents used to buy coal by the ton. Or we say those chocolates are nearly $100 a kilo. Okay, so that's also another very, very important rule that we need to also know. Now, if we miss out a before few and little, the meaning is changed to mean not many or not much. Okay, so for example, she had a few friends. So if I use the article a, that means that she had some friends, a few friends. Now, if I say she had few friends and I don't put the article up, then less than you would expect it. She had few friends, okay? So the meaning changes. So that's something very, very important. Now, we use a or an when describing someone or something in a way that applies to others. For example, Kim is an interesting character. That means there are other interesting characters in the world, okay? So again, we use our when describing someone or something in a way that applies to others, okay? So this is the article part. You're going to find it also in your platform, just in case you want to print it out and underline some stuff that might be very, very important for you. Okay, we can turn to 108, page 108, and over there we can see, we can check out the practice to practice a little bit of articles. So let's go there right away. And you can see here it says discuss these questions about the use of articles in the reviews on page 106 to 107, the ones that you just read. So for example, in the review A, could it be a color instead of the color in the first sentence? Just answer yes or no. Or would it change the meaning if the review mentioned one kitchen instead of a kitchen, and how? So I mean, this is for us to check just the rules that we just saw. We can check them out over here in the different reviews that we just read. And we can see if the rules that we just studied apply for that or not, and if it changes or if it doesn't change. So this part is very, very important that you can do it. And remember that the answers, you're going to find them in the platform. Also, remember corpus thought is very, very important. It says the Cambridge English corpus shows exam candidates often make mistakes with articles. So it says correct the sentences written by exam candidates. So these sentences are not correct. What is the thing that you need to correct based on articles, what we just saw? So this part is very, very important because sometimes we as teachers, have this type of mistakes. So it's very important for us to be able to check these mistakes. Okay, talking about vocabulary. And well, before that, there's going to be also a listening part. And remember, you're gonna find the track in the platform. So it's very important for us to keep on practicing listening, uh, since it is one of the most, of course, important parts of this test. You can, well, we don't have partners, but you can say you can work a little bit with these questions. Of course, it says look at the photos of the articles. So it says work with a partner and look at the photos. What kind of film do you think they are from? Which kind um, do you like best and least? So those pictures, I'm sorry, you can find them here on page 109. So from pictures A, B, C, and D, those are pictures from movies. You can answer these questions. Then it says, listen to people discussing films they have recently seen. So we're going to listen to those people talking, and then we're going to answer these questions once we finish the listening. Which films are they discussing? List all the facts that you learn about the films and what words and expressions do the speakers use to make their feelings clear. Okay. Something very important that we're going to study here in this lesson is part 4 of the speaking test. Some of you have already done it. If you haven't done the speaking test, please let us know so that we can do it and make an appointment for you so that we can do the speaking test live so that we, remember, it's very important for us to practice this type of information. So it says, choose the correct words to complete this sentence. But before it says, in the speaking test, you need to give your opinions and perhaps suggest how things could be done differently or improved. The vocabulary you focus on in this unit is the kind of language that can be used when reviewing something. The chunks here are particularly useful in this part of the exam. So that's why it's very important for you to, even though we're going to be writing or choosing some information here, this can also help us in our speaking part. So for example, choose the correct words to complete the sentences. Films supporters or film buffs usually prefer less commercial films to Hollywood blockbusters. So I mean, there are different vocabulary here that can help us in our speaking. That remember that we don't know exactly what topics they're going to be putting in the test. So that's why it's very important for us to be prepared to talk about any type of topics that they would like for us to do. So this part is very, very important for you to do. And then on the other page 109 says choose two categories from the box. Choose one example from both categories that you will recommend to a partner and one that you will not. Explain your choices. This is optional. I think the most important part will be this part 3 says, after reading or listening to a review, you may want to react to the opinions it gives. Complete the gaps in these expressions. Okay, so using these words and expressions, try to complete these sentences. Okay, and well, this part again, these parts are mostly if we are with partners, but since this is online, then we can skip this part 4. Let's go very quick here to the writing folder 7 on page 110 because it's very important. What you need to do is you need to write a review and you need to send me that review hopefully on WhatsApp. You can just send me a Word by the Word file and I can just check it right away and give you some feedback about it. So but it's very important for you to read this information. What's the review? How does it? What does it include? And you can read the information and some examples here. And here is the review that you need to write to me. So it says we are preparing a feature on TV programs that viewers find particularly original or unusual. Have you seen anything recently which caught your attention? Why was it unusual? What do you think the program makers want to achieve? And were they successful? So that's the review that you need to write. Remember, it's from 220 to 260 words. Okay, so that will be the homework that I would like for you to do, writing your review. Okay, so for now, this is today's lesson. Again, thank you very much for choosing us. Remember that we are getting closer to do the test, and we really want for you to be prepared. There's a lot of extra material in the platform that you can check and see how. There's a lot of practice that I have included over there that you can find. Even we have even sent you some books in your uh, WhatsApp groups that I know that will also help you a lot. But if you need something extra, let me know. And again, we'll be more than glad to help you, or any questions that you might have, let us know, and we'll be more than glad to assist you and help you. So thank you very much again, and we will see you for Unit 18. Bye.